what's up? So I just finished a live stream flipping vinyl for the first time ever on the SP404, and come to find out, I had a bunch of internet issues during the live stream where there were a couple of dropouts, and then by the end, the whole thing just started to sound like static. And at first I thought it was just from one of the vinyl samples I was using, that there was some vinyl noise in it, but no, the whole sound just became static. The thing is, I really like the beat that we made together, so I want to do the track justice and fix it up and do a jam with fixed audio. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show all of the usable parts of the live stream, edit them because there were some drop frames and things like that, and then when the sound starts to get messed up, we're gonna take over here and I'm gonna show you pattern structuring and how I structure the beat and things like that. Then we'll do the full jam. All right, so with that, let's get into it and flip some vinyl. Now let me show you the samples that we actually have. Now these are the drums. Now drums take me the longest, so I already chopped these up. Let me just show you them. If you noticed, in the sample there was no hi-hat. There was a cymbal, but I like the hi-hat. So I took this snare, and this is a little trick you can use. It works on anything, DAW, anything, as long as you have a ring mic. This is the source. Now I put the frequency up to about 89. And there's a hi-hat, and you can change sensitivity. And then I just resampled it. So that's what we ended up with. Nice little hi-hat. Now let's get to the actual samples that we've got. So let me shut off ring mod because that'll get pretty interesting. This is the one I think we're gonna flip today. I just hear so many different options here. Also, with that first note, that's a lead right there that we can use chromatic mode. And lastly, the Benny Goodman. I don't think we'll use it today. Let's take that main one that we want to use and we're going to put it on a new bank and we're going to start chopping it up. I think we'll use auto chop. So we'll go shift chop and we'll set auto mark. Let's do a time division of 8. Yeah. So we've got the chop. Okay, I already hear. I want to move this mark to that little piano fill. Okay, I already like that. And let's just fix up some of these chops. Something. So let's just assign to pad. Oh, I like that. I love that little bass fill right there. And because there's bass in it, I think we can do that little bass trick where we can just get the bass line right from the samples that we use. I really like that. So let's pattern sequence some drums. We need to shut off all the gates that just play together. So we got to mute. Okay, we need to fix this one. So let's go to start and see all that dead space there. We want to get that off. Okay, now we'll go in here. Let's set the quantize. All channel members will be getting all of the samples we're making on the stream, and Solar Sailor tiers get all of the raw vinyl samples that we made, all of those. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, check the join button down below. Now I'm gonna do one of my favorite things with the SP is get just a bass line. So there is bass, as you can hear it in these main samples. It just needs to be brought out a little bit, and we've got a couple ways to do that. So I'm going to make a new copy of this. We're gonna put it here because we're not gonna need it, and we're gonna just take these samples, not the drums, and hit copy. And up the isolator. I'm gonna just copy this, hit pattern select to get out of that, and we're gonna go into our main sample project or bank, and I'm gonna put that bass line up here on 3, and it's gonna take a minute, but it's gonna sample that. Okay, now we're gonna resample that to here. So there is a little high end left. We could try to take out a bit more of it. Okay, now we got a bass, but sometimes when I repitch on the SP, and chat, let me know if you have the same issue, but I will get a little bit of silence at the start. So I'm gonna just check, yep, there it is. It's right there. So that throws off the timing a bit. Remember at the start I mentioned that that first little note might give us some leads. I think we have this first note. It's got a little vinyl noise, but I almost don't mind that because it gets it a little dirty, makes it sound a little pleasant and stuff like that. So let's see what happens if we just take that single segment right at the start. We could take out that little crispy noise, but I kind of like that vinyl vibe to it. So let's see what happens. Let's turn on the pattern. Okay, so we're picking it back up after the live stream. So not much was missed in terms of the actual recording and sequencing. The only thing that I did after the audio started getting corrupt was add a second melody or counter melody. And let me show you that we can actually use TR rec mode to solo something. This is something new I learned with the SP, and it's in my new SP404 cheat sheet, which is available on my website. Link is in the description, and all channel members get it for free. But let's go to a track and let's, or a pattern, and let's go to TR rec mode. And if we find the sound that we want, which is this one, if you hit hold, it solos it. That's the only thing we added, and then now you see there's a lot more patterns than where we left it in the live stream. So let me go over quickly what we did. This is kind of how I structure a track, but I think we're gonna expand on it a little bit. But basically, I didn't want a B section in this track. Instead, I wanted a like pair back or pullback. So what happens is I build up the track. I'm actually gonna start with 16, which just has a little drum fill at the end. We'll get to it. And then I go into the full. And then that's where I'm gonna start, but I'll actually start with ice later on. Then I have the bass section. I mean, we built all of these together in the live stream, but the added things are, I have these dropouts where I just don't have the drums until the second snare hit. And I did that for both the pad that has just the rhythm and the drums, and then this one that has the bass. And I actually think something cool when we want to introduce the bass part, we can go from this one into the dropout with bass, so that it introduces this new novelty but pulls back something. Let's check it out. There it is. So it kind of adds even more variety and change to everything. And then instead of a B section, as I was saying, I made this pullback or pairback, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but basically we start dropping out a lot of stuff. So I have just the bass and the kick snare, no hi-hats. And then I added the first melody, hi-hats back, second melody and hi-hats, and then we go right back into the big chorus with all the... I actually don't think I'll use that second melody until the final one. So basically what I'm trying to get at is when it comes to how to structure, you want to create novelty right in every part. And so that's kind of the way I approached it. And as we start doing the jam, that's how we're gonna keep the chorus hitting the 2 times we do the chorus. And I say chorus, but really it's all the same part, which is building and building. But this first time we use the chorus is only gonna have the melody, the first melody. The second time after we do this dropout, where we introduce this counter melody, we're gonna go into this part that adds it. And one thing that I wanna add to this final bit of the B section is at the end, drop out the drums. Also a great way to point to transition in the ear. So we're gonna do that real quick. So let's go back into TR rec mode, and I'm just gonna find my drums, which are on B, and we're gonna go to that final section, and let's just drop out after this second snare. Let's see how that sounds. Let's test out a transition there. So we're gonna go from this one to 8, and let's see what it sounds like. So I think that's how we're gonna structure the track. Now, mastering. I'm going through Streamlabs. I'm trying to keep this as accurate to the live stream setup as possible. So there's nothing mastering. So we're gonna rely on the SP for the mastering. I'm gonna just use cassette sim and compressor. Now, I want to grit this up a bit. I don't think it has enough grit, especially on those drums. So that's what we're adding. And I'm gonna add a little age. Almost want to add hiss, but I think we'll leave it there. Let's just do 2, 3 is good. Now we could do compressor, or we could warp it even more with 303. Let's actually test out doing 303. I'm just curious to see what we kind of get if we do 303 on that final one. So let's check it out. Let's go 303. I don't want the noise. I want the compressor, and I want that wow and flutter. Let's see what that sounds like. So that's 303. Compressor cleans it up a bit. Gets it real gritty. Maybe we can pare back some of that drive on the cassette. That's perfect. I really like that. I actually think I want that drive back though. Can't make up my mind, I guess. Yeah, that's good. So that's where we're gonna leave it in terms of the track. I think this is really key to consider when you're working in the SP. The pattern sequencer can be either a limitation or a benefit, because you can just keep copying and you can keep moving things around and changing things. And one thing that I think we could do, and maybe we should, is add a little more variety in terms of the drums. Every single pattern uses that same drum, but with TR Rec mode, we can go in, like I was saying, it's a great addition to normal pattern sequencing or using it as the bass, but we can go in and really adjust things and add some variety, maybe some velocity. I think it might be worth it, but it is a lot more effort. But let me just show you on one of them what I'm talking about, and then we'll get into the final jam. I'm gonna change that velocity around a little bit for each pattern, and I'm gonna cut this, but I'm gonna do it differently for each one. I just want some more variety so that everything kind of sounds a little new and novel. I think that's kind of the key here in terms of approaching SP production. When you're beat making, when you're sequencing, you really want to consider variety in patterns, because when you're doing boom bap, lo-fi, anything like that, it's all built on loops, right? And so you want to add variety, and you can do that when you're working with drums. You can do that with the melodies, change the melodies each time or something. But when you're doing patterns like this and just going between them, giving a little bit of difference to each drum can really just add a little bit of novelty to each listen, right? Because it's just ever changing. Maybe that's me coming from an IDM background with like Aphex Twin and stuff like that, where they're doing all kinds of stuff. But I like to add that to bring that, so like ear candy. I like to bring that ear candy so that when someone's listening, it's kind of new every single time, even though it's all very similar. It's all the same loop. I'm gonna do that, and then we'll come right back and we'll do the final jam. So we have all of our patterns, we've got all of the variations. Now all that's left to do is to jam. And so that's what we're gonna do next. But if you want to see how I use the SP404 as a one-piece live machine, check out the video that pops up over here as the jam goes on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.